name's Hank.
I have to find my family.
There's a lot of people who don't think you can or should keep Dory in your home aquarium. But if you're determined, here's how to do it.
Oh, we use the extreme fish food quite a bit in our shop. We like it very much. It's very palatable for the fish. We a lot of times fish that don't eat other things will eat the pellets, which is a great thing.
Hi everybody, John here with another Fincast, and today we're talking about Dory Tangs, Hippo Tangs, Pacific Blue Tangs, and also Regal Tang. They're known by a number of names, and if you do Google searches, you'll find it under most things. Anymore, Hippo Tang is probably the most common name, and Dory Tang will probably overtake that thanks to the success of the movie Finding Dory, which I have seen and absolutely loved. So let's talk a little bit about where we're going with this right now. If you're watching this video right now because you've seen the movie, you want a Dory Tang, or your kids want a Dory Tang, completely understand that. It happened after Finding Nemo, and so there's a lot of interest in the Hippo Tang right now, and it's a really cool fish. I mean, if you like aquariums and you want a really cool fish, we're going to show you that this is an interesting fish. Once you get into the saltwater realm, it's a medium to easy fish among saltwater reef-safe fish. But if you want to compare it to keeping a goldfish or keeping maybe the freshwater aquarium that you had when you were a kid, yeah, not so much. So I have kept the particular Dory Tang that I have in my 120-gallon reef tank for a long time. Let's just take a quick look at my reef tank. Okay, so here's my reef tank, and there is the Hippo Tang, the Dory Tang that I've had for a long time. Let's call it 5 or 6 years. And this is my reef tank, and you can see it's a moderately successful tank. All the corals in there are living, and I've got some SPS coral that's growing, which is on the more difficult side. And I've got a variety of tangs, and the question comes up, can you put tangs together? Well, these have been living together for over 5 years, and they do just fine. I've got the sailfin tang, and the yellow tang, and then of course the Dory Tang, and I haven't had any issues with any of them. And then there's a question, well, can you put multiple tangs together of the same kind? And the answer to that question is almost always you have to put them in the aquarium at the same time, whether it's the yellow tang or the sailfin or the Hippo Tang. But this is a fish that swims around it swims around the tank a lot, and it's easy to see why it's so popular. I mean, not only is it a really cool looking, beautiful fish, and you're not really getting the blue in this video that I wish you were, and it doesn't like having its picture taken for whatever reason. I think it senses the infrared focus from the camera, but it swims a lot, and it's always in and out of the rocks. It does wedge itself in the rocks to sleep at night, so you don't see it when the lights are off. But it's a very active fish, very pretty fish, and it's a very desirable aquarium fish, so you can see why it's popular. But again, the water parameters have to be right. You have to have a lot of rock work so it feels comfortable. You need a lot of flow. You need to have very few nutrients in your tank. When I say nutrients, I mean nitrates and phosphates. And so you need to have big boy saltwater filtration if this is a fish you want to keep. And Carlin Aquarium Systems has this kind of super large 8,000-gallon aquarium that we actually dive in. My son Ben from Super Carlin Brothers dives in the aquarium at least once a month to clean the glass. He maintains it on a daily basis and takes care of the fish. And we have approximately 20 Dory Tangs or Hippo Tangs in that aquarium that we put in when they were about the size of a quarter. They were just juveniles when we put them in the aquarium, and they've been in that tank for just over 3 years as I speak right now, 3 years and 2 months, and I'm talking to you in July of 2016, so that just gives you a little bit of a benchmark there. So we know a little bit about how to keep these fish, and I can tell you where to go from here if you are interested in figuring out how to keep these Dory Tangs. So when I owned the local reef shop and people came in and they wanted to keep either a yellow tang or a hippo tang, I always said you have to have an aquarium that's at least 4 feet long because these fish really like to swim, as you can see. So you need an aquarium that's 4 feet long. The smallest aquarium in America that's 4 feet long is a 55-gallon aquarium, and I would submit that you probably can keep a Dory Tang, if it's lightly stocked with other fish, in a 55-gallon aquarium. The purists out there are going to say you need a 180-gallon aquarium. But I've had great success with my 120. Another aquarium with a 4-foot footprint would be a 75-gallon, a 90-gallon aquarium, a 120-gallon aquarium. If you get up to a 125, that becomes more laterally compressed, but that's a 6-foot long footprint, and then a 180 would also be typically a 6-foot long footprint. So when you look at the gallons required to keep one of these fish, if you want to go to the store and pick up a 20-gallon, 29-gallon, some of these smaller tanks, 40-gallon, that you can buy in the big box stores, that's not going to be enough. That'll take care of maybe a juvenile Dory Tang, and that'll work for a while, and most people will do it with the good intentions of upgrading when the tang gets bigger, but let's face it, most people probably won't. So let's just say don't do that, okay? Let's just say don't do that. You'll also notice that you need a lot of rock work because the tang likes to have a place to hide. It will wedge itself in the rocks at night when it sleeps, and if you don't give it the opportunity, even if it's not going in and out of the rocks, if you don't give it the opportunity to think that it can, this fish will become stressed and it'll become sick and it'll be subject to marine ick, and I'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Then there's a question, can you keep it with other tangs? Well, as you can see in my tank, yes, you can. I keep it with a sailfin tang, I keep it with a yellow tang, and they have always gotten along just fine. You may notice when you first introduce one or the other that you may get some aggression, but I think that you will be okay with other tangs. Now, if you want to keep it with other dories, with other hippo tangs, you can, but you need to add them all at the same time. If you have one established in the tank and then you try to add another one or another two, that probably is not going to work out because the one that has already been in the tank will be the dominant fish and it will not want to share that space. It thinks all of that space on the reef is its. So I would say, yes, you can keep tangs together, the dories, but you need to put them all in the tank at the same time, and much better if they're all juveniles and if there's a lot of space. Food. Now, this is an omnivore fish, but mostly it feeds on algae. So spirulina will be good. I really like the marine formulas from Extreme Fish Food. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Extreme products. And then Seachem also makes some other products that are quite good, and those flakes are good. But if you can get this fish eating a good, solid marine pellet that's got a good balance of nutrition, you'll be fine. I will say that when I do feed it meaty foods, I feed the PE mysis, which is a mysis shrimp which only comes from one lake, Lake Okanagan in Canada, and that mysis is gut-loaded with a lot of phytoplankton, and that really provides a nutritional balance. So when I do feed the tangs a frozen meaty food, it would be the PE mysis, and not just any mysis, but specifically the one from Piscine Energetics. It's a different food that is only made by one company, and it is an amazing food. So now, if you want to keep these tangs with corals, if you think that's where you want to go, or if that's where you are, this is a tang that is completely reef safe. It will not bother your hard corals. It won't bother soft corals. It won't bother your shrimp. Now, this is a tang that typically does get marine ick fairly easily. When we had the retail store, we would see it either in the fish that came in or unfortunately sometimes in the store. But what I've noticed is that lots of times it would have the ick, and maybe the fish was a little lethargic, but it often survived it. And if you bring the water conditions back to where they need to be, you reduce the stress points, the fish often would just beat the ick on its own. If this fish is getting marine ick, you've got a problem with either the water parameters, or the fish is stressed, or there's something in the environment that it's not liking, and so the ick is opportunistic, and it will emerge on these fish. But again, if you can get that fish back to where it's in a state where it's not stressed out, a lot of times that ick will go away. So look, in closing, what I want to tell you is that there are a lot of people, myself included, who are very worried about the health of these fish from people who see the movie and then they run over to the big box store and they want to set up an aquarium and they want to put a Dory Tang in it. Completely, as I said at the beginning of this Fincast, understand that notion, but what you really need is a complete marine setup with marine filtration. You need the live rock, which can be expensive, so you need the rock work. You need to have a protein skimmer, most likely, which is a piece of marine filtration equipment, and some other things. So you need to get into the marine realm. If you're someone who's been into aquariums and maybe looking to nudge forward, Google around on the internet. There's a lot of information out there on how to set up a marine aquarium. But you can't just go to the store, buy an aquarium, plunk a hang-on back filter on it, and then add some salt water and add this fish. It's not going to work out well for you. It's not going to work out well for the fish. And so, you know, your wallet and the fish are both going to take a hit. And really, we don't want that for either one. So, but once again, having said all of that, if you, among marine fish, once you get into the realm of, okay, I've got a legitimate marine aquarium setup, among the marine fish, the Hippo Tang is certainly one of the most desirable, certainly one of the most beautiful, and I would rate it as a low to medium difficult fish in terms of the marine fish that you can purchase. It clearly is one of the top 50, if not one of the top 10 most popular marine fish, along with clownfish and some of the other more common fish that you can keep in a marine aquarium. So, but bigger tank, and just be really careful before you run out and get the Dory Tang. I hope you found this video and this information helpful. I'll put some more information in the description down below, some links to some other good information about the Hippo Tang, and good luck making this decision. If you decide to go forward, I hope you'll be responsible and do the right thing with your new Dory Tang. Good luck, take care, and I'll see you in the next Fincast.